like Southwest. When all the numbers are in the favor of Southwest, it just doesn't make any sense to own anything else if you must own an airline. And really, owning any airline right now is probably not the best way to spend your money, but if you must own something, it's gotta be Southwest. Period. Now, I'm not a huge fan of owning airline stocks in general at this point in time, but if you gotta have one, there's no question. It has to be Southwest. Hey, Steve, can you help me out here?
Because that's the bottom line. Because Stone Cold said so.
Thanks, man. Because Stone Cold said so. All right. All right, guys, so it is just too nice to not go out here and take a walk. But there's so much still going on in the stock market. Plus, I'm switching brokerages. You know, I had to step outside. One of two things. Obviously, it's gorgeous out. It's super nice. It's like 80 degrees out here in Maryland. I'm hiking out on one of my favorite reservoirs. It's absolutely beautiful. It's quiet. It's what I'm looking for because I needed to get away from the frustration. TD Ameritrade, what is going on? How do you do an update 5 minutes before the market's about to open and then crash everybody's account? Now, if you were just trading with your phone, you probably didn't experience this, but if you were trading with your desktop like I was with my mentorship folks, and actually, you know what? Let me go ahead and show you this clip here. I'll show you what happened in the mentorship this morning because it's just absolutely crazy what happened. It happened to every single one of us that were trading on our computers. So annoying. Look at this. Oh, that's great. That's awesome. I'm so glad I'm switching brokerages at this point. This is ridiculous. And so for all of the pain and suffering we've gone through over the years, this was the final straw. I was already looking for a new brokerage, and this just kind of gave me an extra reason to go do that. So for that reason, even though we've had such a great, long, loving, lasting relationship, TD Ameritrade, so the hope here is this. The stocks that have been beaten down because of all the shutdowns, well, investors are starting to believe it's their time to shine. And there's still a ton of liquidity out there with hedge funds, institutions, and huge investors with piles of cash, like Warren Buffett, just waiting for the opportunity to start buying again. And we've already seen Warren start to buy some stuff up, such as Bank of America, as well as Dominion. 72% of the flight has to be filled up in order for them to break even on it, and then they can start making money. And with American Airlines being close to 80%, which is absolutely crazy. So you have to fill up that plane 80% in order for them to break even on it. I don't know what they're doing over at American Airlines, especially because American Airlines is burning through nearly $60 million a day as well. Now, probably one of the biggest factors for American Airlines is that they do have the largest fleet. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Own the Chaos. It's a special live stream today. We are opening the chat only to the channel members, so the Chaos crew. But if you're watching as a regular viewer or regular subscriber, that's cool too. If you want to chat, though, you got to make sure that you're part of the Chaos crew for this particular live stream. And today we're coming to you guys on a red day. Hey, and it's not one of these things where you have to like panic. And so that's why we decided to go live, to let you guys know that it's just to chill out a little bit. It's not the end of the world. There is a pullback today, but we kind of knew this. And, you know, I got my partner Christian here as well as we're doing this live stream. You guys have welcomed him in with open arms, and it's been pretty awesome to see you guys having support, not only for the channel, but for Christian coming in here as well. So what's up, man?
What's going on? I want to do a little exercise before we start. Everybody together with me. Woosah. Just rub the earlobes. There you go.
So, yeah, obviously the market's down here. We got the Dow down at 3.73%. SP's down just about 3%. And the NASDAQ in particular, the tech stocks are down quite a bit, 5.21% as of right now. So, I mean, look, it's one of these things where we knew that this was going to happen. And actually, if you guys were part of the Chaos crew, you would have known that because I put right in one of our posts. So every day, if you're part of the Chaos crew, we put out a daily watch list. And in yesterday's daily watch list, I I mean, yesterday's daily watch list, I couldn't have timed it any better. I said, I just can't believe my eyes with this market. It's a ton of fun watching your account explode, but please consider taking something off the table. This can't sustain, and you want to make sure you're taking at least some profit here, in my opinion. I said those exact words yesterday's post, and sure enough, today was a pretty down day. And yesterday it kind of started that. But this is a really good opportunity for a lot of you who did heed that warning and took some profit off the table to have that cash to then be able to start buying the dips on some things that make sense. And obviously you don't want to be looking for, a falling knife just to try to grab something just because it's down. You want to make sure that you see some sort of consolidation and some buying return before you want to actually start scaling back in on some positions. So curious, Christian, like what do you got today? Did you end up making any purchase today, or are you just sitting on your hands? What you got?
No, I did. I made a few purchases. So I actually not yesterday, a couple of days ago, I scaled out of Tesla. I still had a starter position in it, but I scaled out. So I actually scaled back in. So I'm almost full position size there. Apple, I increased my position, and I actually have an order in to potentially add to Apple as well. We keep getting people in. This is awesome. So yeah, I have those. And then I'm also, I actually added to Rocket because right around here, right around 27, and I'm in it for, not for the long term, but I'll hold on to it for a couple of weeks because I was looking at those earnings. Their margins are ridiculous.
Yeah.
I want to dig into the earnings a little bit more, but I don't think this stays down here. So I felt good about adding to Rocket.
That's kind of how I felt about CrowdStrike as well. Now, fortunately, I was not holding on to CrowdStrike through earnings, and I was able to grab some down here at 133. Currently sitting at 130, so I'm down a little bit. But I really thought that this was going to be a good opportunity. They uplifted their outlook for 2021. There's so many good things going on with CrowdStrike in that earnings report. They blew it out of the water, as we expected they would. But you can see here, looking at the 4-hour chart, it's obviously come down quite a bit from its highs at 158 just a day ago. So I think that this is a couple of things. Obviously, the market's down. All of tech is down. But I think there's also a lot of profit taking on CrowdStrike because of this huge buildup to earnings. And so I think that this allowed for some really good opportunities to grab on the dip for CrowdStrike, and I think that we continue to see this moving on up. I said that CrowdStrike should hit $200 by the end of the year. I stand by that, and I think that they actually end up crushing it.
I want to say a few things. We did a member series video that is green days versus red days. We talked about this. Mm-hmm. People kind of have it backwards. Anybody can make money on green days. When you can find opportunities on red days, and we talked about the red zone, like this is great. These are great opportunities. You have to be smart. You can't just willy-nilly get in there, but these are great opportunities. And that's the one thing I learned from you. I feel like since I'm still learning at trading, I feel like I'm representing the chaos crew, like the traders that are still learning and going along. So one of the big things I learned from you is it's not about how much you make. It's about minimizing your losses. And if you can make sure that you're not having huge red days, that's really when you win.
Yeah, 100%. It's kind of one of those things where, and it's like I was saying yesterday in yesterday's post, trimming out as into the strength is really what you want to go for. You don't want to start selling into weakness. And so anybody who's selling today out of fear, it's kind of doing the opposite of what you should be doing, looking towards areas that, you really want to try to capitalize on some of that fear. So today would be the day that if you got some cash, maybe start looking to scaling some things in. I wouldn't say just go all in, but maybe buying some things here. And that's kind of what I've been doing as well with the Chaos Crew folks and the mentorship folks as well. Just basically letting everybody know, hey, I'm just buying a little bit here, a little bit there, just to kind of see what's going on, or just to kind of see where this might end up bottoming out at, because never try to actually time the actual market to try to predict the absolute bottom. You always just want to scale yourself in. But I thought that was a really good point that you made as far as the red zone. We have this thing that we call it the red zone. So when it's red, that's when the real money gets made. Yeah, I mean, I think that it's going to be really good opportunities for those who kind of really see through what's actually happening here. And look, it might end up being a red day tomorrow too, only because we have a 3-day weekend coming up. We have, typically you'll see some profit taking as well on Friday. So I think that we could very well see a red day tomorrow too, but really just depends. But I think we'll be just fine. One other thing that I also wanted to kind of bring forward as well is that we got some folks that are very tech heavy, and for obvious reasons. That's the technology sector is what's gotten us here to this point. But we've talked about having a balance of recovery stocks and tech stocks to try to offset some of the overbalance of techs. So we talked about getting into MGM.
Oh, hell yeah!
Welcome, Tan, to the Chaos Crew. We talked about MGM and Penn National, some of the epicenter type stocks that have taken such a beating, but now are on the recovery. Now, I think it's also important to make sure that you're not looking at things that are just cheap. So we want to look at things that have been beaten down, but also make sense to buy. Like we talked this morning in my mentorship, which if you want to be a part of that, click the link down in the description and enter the code SUMMER if you want to do that. It'll give you a free 30 days. But we were talking in there that AMC, for example, that would be what we would consider a quote-unquote epicenter stock that had been hammered. But that still wouldn't be something that I would get into. So if we look at AMC, yes, it's cheap. I mean, it's a movie theater stock. They've announced that 70% of the movie theaters are going to open back up, still trying to follow guidelines as far as capacity and everything else. But I don't see how something like this is still going to be coming in demand. We still have Disney Plus that's releasing movies on their platform. And so if I'm a parent who has, a family of 4, would I want to go spend $200 on the chance that maybe somebody will get sick? Or do I want to just spend the $20 or however much it's going to be, stay inside, buy myself some popcorn and just hang out? So you have to think about that kind of stuff. Just because it's cheap and it's been beaten down doesn't necessarily mean it's going to go up. And really, AMC has been gotten beaten up before the Rona, and this just kind of exacerbated it all.
Yeah. So Oscar Oviedo just wanted to make a point, and he said he's down 2K. Perspective wise, I don't know what that means because percentages is usually what I work with to understand. Because 2K, if you were in 4K, yeah, you're down 50%. But if you have 100K worth of Docusign. But with that said, I do want to. Can we get into some questions? Because I want to make sure that we're just whatever people are asking, we can.
Yeah, let's
get into that.
We'll get some questions from the Chaos Crew folks.
Yeah, so Be Kind, Brown Bear, your view on Docusign.
DocuSign, so let's take a look at that chart here. So I've had a lot of questions about DocuSign today because obviously it sold off quite a bit. We go and look at the 4-hour chart here, and it has just absolutely been crushed. There's been a couple of things going on. Some profit taking, of course, and it's actually come down here, spiked below support at 229 and is starting to get bought back up at 238. I think we probably end up seeing a run into earnings here. Earnings are today after hours. My expectations, and this was on the watch list for Stock Watch Sunday, I think they actually do beat earnings. It'll be interesting to see how the market reacts given the fact that everything's been selling off though. So be careful, be cautious. I do think that they beat earnings, but as we always try to express, it's always a gamble when you're holding anything through earnings. So if you've already been profitable, especially after this monster run, literally after Stock Watch Sunday, it ran all the way up from $224 to $293, and now it's pulled back. So if you didn't take anything during that run, you might want to reconsider your strategy because that is an insane run. And if you didn't sell one dime for profit, then you got to figure out, what makes sense, sell into that strength. But I think that DocuSign does well through earnings. Should you hold through them? I think that's something that you just have to ask yourself, is it worth the risk? As earnings today, I am still holding Smith & Wesson as well. Huge sell-off here, but this is one that I think I'm going to hold on to even through earnings here. It's already been beaten down just today and is almost retested support at 1775. I would say that they end up crushing earnings still. and it's worth holding through as the closer we get to election season. So even if earnings come out and it's not really all that great, or the reaction isn't all that great, I would consider probably continuing to add to this. So you can see here my initial entry on this was 1841. So I'm going to continue to hold on to that. I had debated selling half of it going into earnings, but now that it's come back to my initial entry point, I think that I'm just going to continue to hold on to my full position. It's really not that huge of a position, so I'm just going to hold on to it and see where it might end up going.
All right, let's talk about Peloton. A bunch of people are asking about Peloton. Sean Felty, Tammin Johnson. Is this a good price to buy Peloton? And then the next question is really, are you holding through earnings?
So Peloton, I actually sold the rest of today. I was up 30% on Peloton. This is one that I have been scaling out of for the last several days, starting with last week, and I sold out the rest of it today. I do think that there's going to be an opportunity for a re-entry. I like it around $80 a share. I'm not sure I want to be holding on through earnings unless I'm up quite a bit and I can afford the risk. If you are in that similar situation where you've been in it since the 60s when I basically was talking about it then, or even in the 30s when I started talking about it initially, I think that this is going to be a good opportunity to probably grab some on the cheap. I would look for $80 a share, and if it can't hold that, maybe around 78. I think that that's going to be a really good spot. It already came down to around 80.32 this morning, so I think that if you're able to grab some down there, probably not going to get them much cheaper than that at this point going into earnings. And I don't know. We'll see what tomorrow brings, but I think that would be a good grab for Peloton, and I think it's worth holding on to. I was just up so much on it that I wanted to be able to take some profit and have some liquidity to be able to buy some of the other stuff that's been beaten down so much.
Yeah. William Invest. William, first of all, listen, man, just calm down a little bit. We got a lot of questions. We got a lot of things going on. You're getting all fired up, you son boat. He asked about GME.
GME, it's been in a clear short squeeze over the last couple of days. I've been actually watching this one since Monday. It's been on a really, really strong run here. But this is just a short squeeze at this point. I don't know if I see anything fundamentally that I like about GameStop. There's a reason it's down here. It's selling off right now. I would probably look to potentially, if you really liked it, which, I mean, I don't, but if you really liked it, I would look for this to continue pulling back to at least $7 flat. But it's been clearly overbought for the last several days on this squeeze. It goes through this in waves. This happened on a previous run with GameStop. When was it? Before the Rona crashed it, I believe. Yeah, right back in here. It went pretty berserk from $3 range all the way up to $5. So same thing's happening here. I don't think that I would be in it all the way up here. I'm not sure it's going to go much higher before it pulls back even further.
Okay. Fastly, Emmanuel Golub and Power Sports G wanted to ask about entry on Fastly. It's a good buy around here.
Fastly, yeah, look, I still really like Fastly as well. It's just you're going to have to pair this up with all the other tech stocks too. By the way, I just got to stop. I got to pause for a second. You guys are awesome. The level of engagement we're having right now in the chat is pretty freaking sweet. So thanks for being so vocal and obviously for the support as well. You guys are great. We got 432 people watching and got about 58 likes. See if we can get those up a little bit. Always like to give everybody the friendly reminder. Those are rookie numbers, so let's try to get those up.
Those are baby numbers.
Yeah, but appreciate you guys. Dawson Schreiner, John Warnier, welcome to the Chaos Crew, guys. And Taylor just donated to the channel as well, so appreciate the donation. So anyways, getting back to my answer on Fastly. What's up? Okay.
Go ahead.
So getting back to my answer on Fastly, I do like Fastly a lot. If this somehow comes back down to around 81, 81.50, that seems to be a decent area. However, it does look like it's kind of settled down pretty good here at 82.33. So that's kind of
hell yeah!
right where it's sitting here is where I would probably end up scooping some up if you were looking for a dip buy or maybe an entry. This seems to be a reasonable area to perhaps.
Oh, hell yeah!
The memberships just keep rolling in.
Tan179, I think that's the one who just actually joined the membership. Choose between Shell or Workhorse. Woo!
Workhorse all the way. Look, here's the thing. I think SHLL, Shill, Tortoise acquisitions, I think they're going to absolutely blow up once the merger goes through. So if you want to hold on to that in anticipation of that happening, actually, let me go and look at the Shill chart. I've been pretty vocal about how I feel about any of these speculative EV plays, but I'm not oblivious to the fact that Shill could potentially blow up and go crazy if this merger or when this merger goes through and have a Nikola type reaction. And what I mean by that is that we're going to see a nice pop once the merger goes through. There's going to be a huge sell-off. And I think that we're going to see that with a lot of these other ones. SPAQ could be another one that we see that happen with. The one that I do like, though, the most is Workhorse, because we have potential for some pretty strong movements from the government. They've already got clients. UPS as a client.
Oh, hell yeah!
And Robert Jones, welcome to the Chaos Crew, man. So I think this is going to be another really great opportunity for if you want to get in on something that's not Tesla related, as far as EVs are concerned. Getting in on this one and waiting for the potential post office deal could be a really good opportunity for Workhorse. So if there's any one specific EV play that I like that's speculative, that's not Tesla related, it is Workhorse.
All right, nice. Here's a good one, because this is an important question. KKCC asked this, and then somebody asked about what you're buying and selling today. But the question is, can we get an update on the small account? They want a frame of reference on how you do on a red day.
Yeah, sure. So I actually am down today as well, but I've sold out of some stuff. So here's all my positions and I've ended up adding to some. So I bought Work or Slack Technologies yesterday, ended up adding to that. So I'm down about 5% on that. Cloudera, this is one that you guys saw. I ended up getting stuck into because I went back into the small account and PDT caught up with me I just forgot that I even had to follow PDT. So that was one that I planned on selling out of before earnings, and then I was like, crap, now I'm stuck. So I'm right there with you guys on that one. Smith & Wesson, just barely up on this one, but like I said, I'm still planning on holding that. Tesla, this was a really good lesson that I told everybody this morning in our live stream, our private live stream, was that I am overexposed in Tesla. I'm fully aware of that now. But this is one that's really kind of brought me down quite a bit. Tesla, I shouldn't have held as much as I did. I wanted to have one share of Tesla before the split happened. And I ended up selling some into the strength, but then ended up buying some more on a dip and then ended up overexposing myself. So I am down quite a bit on Tesla. But I'm willing to hold this one out just because it is a good company. We know where it's going, and there's plenty of catalysts that are ahead for this. If you guys caught yesterday's top stocks to watch for September, Tesla was on that list. We have Battery Day. We have the potential S&P 500 inclusion. So I'm still really confident in Tesla. As soon as I'm able to reduce my risk level in Tesla, I will be doing that, but I think I'm just going to have to wait that out. Penn National still in, not really much going on there. CrowdStrike, like I said, I ended up buying into. I have about 5 shares of that as of this morning, only down a couple bucks there. Snapchat, I actually scaled into some more Snapchat. This has actually been moving really, really well. Actually, let's go look at this chart. This is one that I talked about yesterday in the top stocks for September as well. I'll move you down here, Christian. And not that you would know, but you can see here, I have a few areas down here. 2250 is where I marked this at. So I've been making some entries in here, scaling in. So I have about 25 shares of Snapchat. I actually plan on adding more when the opportunity arises, but this has been an absolute monster. Relatively speaking, when everything else has been doing so poorly, Snapchat's actually been holding up pretty well. So really happy with my entry there on Snapchat. MGM, again, trying to have that balance between recovery stocks and tech stocks. So I ended up getting into that. So I've just bought a ton of stuff today. And then I bought Nvidia as well, down about $20. So as you guys can see, I'm also red, but I think that these are really good buying opportunities. And everything was on sale today, so I just decided to buy all kinds of stuff up. I practiced what I preach, though. I sold out and trimmed out of a lot of things along the way over this past few trading days, and it allowed me to give me the liquidity that I needed to be able to buy up a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, and I want people to remember a couple of things. The first thing is that, your account should actually look like a healthy stock. The trend should be up, but it's not going to be like this. Come on, we can't have every green day. So it's going to be like this. It might come down a little bit and come back up. And so we can't forget, like, the past 2 days, we've had massive run-ups.
Yeah.
We're going to have these days. It's just, again, can we minimize it? We mitigate it. That's going to be really important. So the next question, so our regulars, I want to make sure I get our regulars because you're committed to the cause. Suresh Babu, is this a tech crash, the sign of a tech bubble bust? Reminds me of March lows and .com crash. Very nervous.
Look, I don't think this reminds me of March lows at all.
No.
And this is something that we just really need to reemphasize, is that this is not a day to freak out. Look, we're down a couple of percentage points. When March happened, the Dow had dropped 50% almost. So this is not the time to panic at all. This is just a really healthy pullback that we needed. I mean, like Christian was just saying, we can't just go straight up every single day of the week. It just doesn't happen that way. So we need these healthy pullbacks, but like I said, we have to make sure that we're selling into the strength and buying into weakness, and that's what we decided to do today. But Snapchat's actually looking really, really good here, up over nice resistance of around 23, 25. So we're sitting right there. This is looking great. I'm really loving my Snapchat entry. We got about 466 people in here though too, which is awesome.
That's a late July watch list special, Snapchat.
Yeah, after their earnings last quarter, this was definitely a clear buy for all of us. So I'm excited to see what their next earnings looks like. It should be this next week or the week after. Should be good.
Yeah. All right. So next, another regular, Sharif. What's up, my man? What is a good entry for Pfizer?
Ooh, Pfizer. Yikes. Okay. Let me see here. So Pfizer's one that is particularly risky because of what we've talked about with the virus before. I've said this many times. If you're not first, you're last as far as the Rona vaccine is concerned. One thing that I do like about Pfizer, though, is that they have more than just the vaccine, in their favor. They have more products than just that, so that they're relying on. So I like Pfizer. Looking at a potential area for entry, though, from a technical standpoint, we're getting pretty much there. It's already kind of past several supports that I probably would have anticipated making this a buy, but $36 flat seems to be the next area. Looking at it, if it can't hold that, maybe about $35.40. So pay attention to those two areas for a potential bounce. Again, when you're looking at these areas for support, you don't want to just buy it because it hits that number. You want to make sure you're seeing some sort of confirmed bounce, watching the buying come back once it hits that support. If it can't hold that support, then you're looking for the next level down. So want to make sure I reiterate that. Just because I'm calling out these support areas doesn't mean that they're clear buys. You just have to watch and wait for confirmation for buying to return there. We got 487 folks in here. This is awesome.
How many likes we got?
100 and some. I can't see it. Hold on. It's 100 and something. Let me move this down.
All right. Nick Mendo.
135. We got 135.
What's up, Nick? Let me do my Nick Mendo voice. Damn. You remember when I joined this channel? I think I was one of the first 100. And on Stock Watch Sunday, we could call you. And now look at us.
Bro, I wish people could call in again. We got to figure that out. We'll do the call.
I
would love people to call me again. The problem is that I did have people calling, and Nick, thanks so much for the loyalty, man. Yeah, I used to have people calling on Stock Watch Sundays, and it was awesome. But then too many people started calling, and then call waiting, and it got to be too overwhelming. But I really want to bring that back. I think it would be cool. What was the question?
Schmoot? There was no question. That was just okay. A nice little comic relief.
I appreciate that, Nick. Thanks, Nick.
Shmoo. What about Ideanomics?
What was that name again?
Shmoo Jew.
Oh God, what was what was the stock?
Ideanomics.
IDEX. I hate this stock. Everybody wants to talk about this stock. So, look, it's a piece of crap. I'm not saying anything else about it. It's not going anywhere. It's right up there with GNUS. This is a Robinhood favorite. A lot of people like to talk about, but I can't get behind this thing. Too much debt. Okay, so even if they have a catalyst, it's just going to struggle to get any kind of movement out of it.
So for someone who isn't in Tesla, good time to buy Tesla today?
So I think that honestly, as much as it pains me to say this, because I'm in it, I think that Tesla does end up coming down into the high 300s. I just think it needs that kind of pullback. We're sitting here at 410, so I think that we probably will end up seeing some sort of move down below that. It's just a feeling I have. But I think that if you see anything below $400, it would be a very clear buy. Not to say that where it's at right now couldn't be, but I think that if this breaks below 405, which is the low of the day today and was the low of the day yesterday, if it breaks below that, I think that would present itself with a really good opportunity to buy. But if it breaks that, there's a very good likelihood that it's going to continue to go down. So I think that we'll see it go below 400. And if it does, look for areas for a potential bounce or consolidation to try to scoop some up on the cheap. But yeah, if it breaks below 405, yeah, it would be the time to scoop some up, in my opinion. Shmoo Jew.
Bob K, what's up, my man? Another regular. Listen, he says you're having a great hair day. No question, just statement.
It's always a great hair day, my man. That's hilarious.
Orion 6807 asks thoughts on JNPR.
JNPR. I'm not familiar with this one. Sitting at 2290. Enterprise Securities. Okay, so I would say this could be definitely a nice little buy opportunity on some overreaction here. I'm just looking at the chart. I would say if this can break up over 2316, might be a good case for it to continue. If not, the support is back down here around 2269. So tough goings for that today. Tough day on that one.
I want to just pause for, I don't even know how to pronounce his name, but Sonti or Sonnet Faisal. I got beef with you, my man. I asked people for questions and to give me feedback, and he just listed a bunch of tickers. So you're in the doghouse, my friend. I may not ask any of your questions for a week or so.
Yeah, the questions have to have some kind of context. Don't just throw tickers out there. But we're almost at 500 concurrents. This is pretty awesome.
Yeah. So we have, all right. NNOX, one of the few stocks not getting hammered today. Simon, is this a good territory for buy?
NNOX. Jeez. We're getting real getting into it. So it's down about 1%. So I don't really like it. It doesn't look like it's all that liquid for one, and it's super low volume. This is a tough one to get behind. I would say if you really liked it, wait till you can see a breakup above VWAP, which is probably about $40.18, and maybe it makes a nice continuation. I would look for maybe a dip grab around 38 even. But this one it doesn't look like it's not a very pretty chart.
All right. Sony, William Sonoma.
We're up over
worth an ad?
Yeah, so I'll take a look at that. Just wanted to mention we're up over 500. Let's go. We got over 500 and 170 likes. You guys are incredible. You guys are awesome. So William Sonoma, this is one that I actually took a loss on last week. Took about 5% loss on William Sonoma. I was trying to play it after earnings because I felt as if the reaction to earnings was not good. It had incredible earnings. They have a dividend coming out again, the 48-cent dividend. It's just tough. I like Williams-Sonoma a lot. Their sales are through the roof. We'll see what happens in the third quarter, but I do like them a lot. I would wait for this one, though. Let's pull this back out to a 4 hour to paint a better picture here. What did it for me, why I ended up selling out of Williams-Sonoma is because it broke this 88 support. And so for me, I felt as if it would probably end up continuing to go lower. Sure enough, it did. Came down to 85. If it can somehow hold up above 81, I think that would be good for Williams-Sonoma. If it ends up breaking below that, I don't know. I don't know where the bleeding stops. So I would just hold off on that. Wait till it breaks back up over 88 and sustains that break, and then might be worth getting into. But I do see this getting back to $100 a share. It's just might take some time.
Todd Landon, this is a good one. It's not a questions comment. It's cool you guys jump on here on red days. I subscribe to a few other YouTubers and noticed I only hear them on green days. Todd, I hear you, bro. That's exactly what I said to Brad. Yep. I was like, you're not hearing a chirp from anybody. You're going to get a video tonight after the market's closed. Like is the market going to crash? And the reality is it doesn't help you. So we're here for you. We're in it in the thick of it.
Right. Yeah, well, it doesn't really help you after the fact, right? So we're definitely here for you, man.
And it's his only membership, by the way. So he's loyal and he's committed. Thanks, bro.
Appreciate it.
So we have one that was a question about the support and resistance video we did.
Yeah.
So Jeffrey Chow asked, does your philosophy change based on the time frame? So like if it's a 2 week, 1 week, or 1 day timeline, is there a change in supports and resistance from a macro perspective?
So first of all, just wanted to say that for those of you who are watching that aren't a part of the Chaos Crew, this was a question in reference to a private video that we put out in regards to support and resistance. So if you guys are curious about this, it's not just here's a watch list and here's my portfolio. We do actually engage with the community, and this is something that we just did privately for them on how to identify supports and resistances. Now, to answer the question, again, if you want to be a part of the crew, hit the join button next to subscribe. But to answer the question, I don't really if it's a support, it's a support. I like to kind of get a little bit more of a bird's eye view on a 4 hour and a daily chart. And then if I'm looking for something a little bit more shorter term that I'm only looking to maybe make a day trade on, or maybe just like a 1 or 2 day swing trade on, then I would look at a smaller time frame, maybe like a 5 minute or a 30-minute time interval if I'm going to be in and out. But if I'm looking at it from like a longer term trade, then I'll go to like a 4 hour or a daily chart to make those trades.
Steve King, another regular. Steve King, my man, what's up?
What's up, Steve?
Black Bear. So he wants us each to suggest best stocks, two favorite stocks to buy on the dip today.
Mine was Snapchat and MGM. Honestly, both of those were stunners. I think they'll end up paying off quite considerably. I like both of those.
So I would say that, you still got me?
Yeah.
I'm just going to speak. I would say that mine would be outside of the obvious ones, because I think you can buy any of the big tech ones on a discount. Yeah. But for me today, I would say Peloton, because earnings coming up. So it's a good swing trade. I think this would be a good opportunity. I'm going to get Nvidia. I'll just tell you, like at some point I'm getting to Nvidia today or probably tomorrow, because I want to see how tomorrow shakes out.
Yeah.
But I've been waiting for an opportunity to get into that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I've already gotten into Nvidia, but I think that's definitely a solid play as well. They just came out with an incredible new chip that's really powerful, and I think that with the amount of growth and with what they've put out through their earnings last week, this is just it's only a matter of time before this goes back up. I think this gets back to 600 sooner rather than later, or gets to 600 sooner rather than later. So nice picks.
All right. So I'm going to answer the rest of the questions, but I'm not going to take any more questions from here on out. So I'll answer the rest. Todd Landon. Okay. Limitless combo. Are you familiar with Kensington Capital, KCAC, It's a SPAC acquiring a EV tech company backed by Bill Gates and Volkswagen.
Yeah,
What do you think of
so
it?
I actually just I had a lot of questions about this today. To be completely honest with you, I don't know anything about it, as far as enough to really kind of give you an opinion on. Anything that's backed by Bill Gates is obviously going to go crazy. Should you buy into it with it all the way up here? I think that's something that you have to ask yourself if it's worth the risk. It's already up 66%. So ask yourself if you're willing to buy something that's up this high, and if you think the risk is worth the reward. For me personally, I would say no, but and I would wait for some sort of pullback. But ultimately the decision's up to you. But it's gone from 975 just yesterday all the way up to 1750, and is now sitting at 1672. So I would just be careful, really, really cautious with that one.
All right, Mike Hudson. He asked about, is it time to start slowly getting back into travel stocks like Love?
Yes. So I think that it is, and we just spoke about that at the beginning of the stream, is making sure that you give yourself a decent balance between some of the remote work, tech stock type plays, and then also having some of the recovery type ones. And Southwest, as I've been very vocal about being my favorite airline stock, if you were to hold an airline stock. Now, I was saying that, for months now, that I'm not sure I would be in any of the airlines. But if I ever had to be in one, it would be Southwest. They have the best balance sheets. They have the best break-even load factors. So, yeah, I think that LUV would definitely be a good grab. I like it at 37.50.
Yeah, and I want to mention this because we put it on the watch list. To be clear, I'm a huge fan of Love as well. It's in my long-term portfolio. We had put Spirit Aerosystems on the watch list. The ticker is SPR. If you want to spec play airline stock, like, I think that's a great one because it's still hasn't bounced back from its lows. And I know a lot of people love Boeing. Spirit's a great one. Their main client is Boeing, so they go as Boeing goes. But they're still on some lows, and I think they have a good support. So I still like Love in the major airlines, but if you're thinking about Boeing, Spirit Aerosystems may be one to look at.
Yeah, this one's definitely one that's been on the radar for quite some time. We got 530 folks in here. That's awesome.
We'll stay on till 1,000.
Yeah, well, I mean, F it. We'll be here.
Let's talk about this only because it's funny. And I'm not sure how much background you have, but did you see the news that Bumble's going to IPO in 2021, I guess?
Oh, God. No, I didn't hear about that. They're the dating app, right? Like Tinder?
Yeah, better than Tinder.
Okay.
Maybe not as good as Hinge, but yeah.
Got it. I mean,
it's like Grindr. Are you familiar with Grindr? Have you ever been on Grindr?
Yeah, a time or two, looking around.
On Grindr?
I just wanted to get your reaction.
On Grindr. You took the bait.
No, I wanted to get a reaction out of you. But yeah, no, I mean, I don't know what to say about that. The one upcoming IPO that I am looking forward to is Airbnb. I think that's going to be really good, honestly. Even though that we're in a weird, tumultuous time, especially with people being afraid to use Airbnbs, I think that people are more afraid to go to a hotel, and they're actually more, if they have to go somewhere or they want to go somewhere, they're probably more inclined to go to someone's home than an actual hotel. So I think it'd be interesting to see the dynamic, but I am looking forward to Airbnb's IPO. I think that'll be a good one to hold on to.
I'll tell you one I'm looking forward to is Atlassian, which is they're the parent company of Asana, which I love and I talk about.
Yeah.
But that's going to be interesting. I'm hyped for that because I like it better than Slack. I'm just interested in their monetization and their numbers, but that's one I'm excited about.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that, and I love me some Asana. People said no excitement about the Palantir IPO. Everybody's been talking about this thing. I don't know how I feel about it. They have the same type of concept or mindset as like an Uber, where you just grow at all costs, and then you somehow figure out how to be profitable later. I'm just not down with that. Um, you know, Uber is still trying to make it work, and I guess they kind of are so far, but still have no idea when they're going to be profitable, especially now. We saw that with WeWork too, right? And how they were looking to actually IPO, and it failed because they spend more money than they make. And I think that Palantir ends up coming down into that same vein. So that's the one. That's why I'm a little bit hesitant to really kind of be that excited about it, honestly.
Yeah. If somebody is in Apple, so this is from Nick Mendo. Or sorry, not Apple, from Nick Mendo. If somebody isn't in Rocket, down 14% today, is it a decent entry?
I think so. And Christian, you talked about this previously. It's sitting at 26.86. This is actually my initial entry, or my initial average price that I had on this before selling into the strength yesterday. I think that this probably is a really good time to buy. You can see I have a couple areas of support marked here. 26 is one of them. It's sitting at 26.87. If it can't hold this and somehow ends up continuing to come down, so $23 seems to be the next area that I would scoop some up, and I would for sure be buying it up there. I think, though, that it should hold this 26 area. You can see how strong that area is, that 26 support. Earnings were great. Real estate is off the chain, and we talked about this a little bit yesterday during yesterday's live stream that, you can basically, apply for a mortgage remotely at this point through Rocket. And with residential real estate being what it is, I think that this is just a perfect storm for Rocket to continue to grow and then explode. So I think this is undervalued at this point. And shoot, man, I mean, I may end up grabbing back into this. This is starting to look really attractive to me too. Boom,
yeah,
we just saw a big boost. 539 folks in here now. 539 concurrent.
Suresh Babu, this is a good question. First of all, I was wrong on Atlassian. I'm sorry. I mixed it up with Trello. Trello is a version of Asana, and it's not. I thought they were IPOing. They're actually TEAM. It's actually a stock that's around. So,
oh, wow.
Simon, that's why we have a community. We're not perfect. We just act like we're perfect.
Appreciate the that's right. Appreciate the correction.
All right. So Suresh Babu asked about how do you guys control your emotions when you see a drop? I panic and sell and regret. That's not uncommon. Any advice?
Really, it just kind of comes down to practicing. And people think that also that just because you were paper trading and now you're not means that you can't go back to paper trading. And that's just not the case. I tell that people all the time, and it's kind of like, oh, I never really thought about going back and just kind of practicing. But really, practice makes perfect. I mean, there's a paper trading account right here on Webull if you want to be, check that out. And so this is something that I still mess with if I want to try to experiment with something. Now, obviously, I don't have a real $1 million account here. But it's nice to be able to just kind of go back and retest things, especially if you want to try to retest a strategy or whatever. Go back to paper trading and trying to get yourself in that mindset. Now, there's the argument that can be made that it's not the same when you put your own skin in the game, and that's true. But this at least helps you kind of like get prepared for something for a day like today. And when you start putting real skin in the game, start taking smaller position sizes. Don't just go crazy and hop right back into it like you did before. You're going to end up with the same result. So you want to minimize your risk, take smaller position sizes. And if you're going to be nervous about holding on to something, then you've obviously taken too large of a position, and your risk level, risk tolerance is needs to come down some. So that would be what I would say. That would be best practice.
Yeah, and I probably can speak to this a little bit more, since I think the newer you are, the more emotional you are, and the more you do think about emotion, and you don't see these things, right? These are learning experiences. But, you talk about it all the time, like having a strategy and knowing what the game plan is before you buy the stock. That was my biggest problem, was like, I didn't have a game plan before I bought the stock, and then I was here bag holding. And so you really got to remove the name, everything from the stock, and just look at it as a business decision and not get caught up in, oh, it's Elon Musk, oh, it's Apple and their products. Like you've got to be able to look at it and say, okay, what am I going to do? How am I going to play this? And if I cut my losses, that just means there might be a better opportunity on the way down.
Yep. 100%.
How many more questions you got in you?
Let's go for 10 more minutes. Let's just round out the hour. How you guys loving this so far? If you guys are loving this live stream, if you're getting a lot of value out of it, give me some likes and we'll keep going. Let me know you're loving it.
If you had to pick one FANG, which one would you pick today to buy?
That's a great question. Apple.
Ooh, okay.
Or Amazon. I don't know. Apple, I guess. I'll stick with Apple.
I'll take the Amazon. You can't go wrong with either one.
You really can't.
Hold on, I'm just looking for. Okay. You did JNPR, right? We did that one already.
Yep.
Did we do VSLR?
I don't think so.
I don't believe so. Big Diesel 04 has been a beast. Do you think it should buy on the dip?
It has been a beast. I would say, yeah, probably. I like it. VSLR, if this retests this 27 flat, probably a good spot to buy. Right now, it's actually looking like it's bounced quite a lot from that support. 27.30 is where it came down to. So it kind of looks like it could be rolling over here to maybe retest that spot. So if it does, from a technical standpoint, it looks pretty good there. Great question.
Jose Matute. Hey, Brad, I went all in. Any sentence that starts with I went all in is scary.
Oh, God.
I went all in on Rackspace at 21. Did I make a mistake?
Probably. There's probably a lot of mistakes here. So Rackspace, you said? There it is. So this has got delisted, it looks like. Is the RAX the ticker? It's probably sitting in the OTCs.
I don't know.
Or RXT. There it is, RXT. Pull up the wrong one. So, first of all, your first mistake probably was going all in on something. I'm sure you probably recognize that now. I don't know enough about Rackspace to really have an opinion on it. All I can say is that if I'm looking at it from the technicals and I pull this back out to the 1 hour chart, it's got to hold above 1814 or else it's not gonna be a fun ride for this thing. I am seeing that it looks like it was a recent IPO. So I would just be careful. Any of these recent IPOs are going to have a certain level of volatility because people are going to be excited about it and then they're going to want to take profit. We've seen that with Rocket a little bit, but we like Rocket for very specific reasons. I'd have to look into RXT a little bit more to really kind of have a strong opinion about it, but it's got to hold up above this $18 mark in order for it to kind of maintain its upward momentum. It's not looking good today for it. Over the last couple of days, it's been on a pretty serious downtrend.
One of my favorite people, love saying his name. That's why he's one of my favorite people. Julio Cesar Lorenzo Bianchi.
Ooh, there we go. There we go.
Now, this is kind of a question, but I think it's more rhetorical. Is there any doubt this is the best investing channel?
I mean, I don't think so. Got to share the shit out of this.
Bang for your buck.
That's right. It's the best $5 you ever spent.
Oh, that's funny. William, this is a good statement. I think it begs pointing out. William Fuchnicht, he's low key funny, by the way. Even though I don't comment on a lot of these people, I can't bring up everybody. I see you, people. I see you. He says, I only sweat when I'm the only one down, never when practically the whole market takes a drop, which is a very good point. If the rest of the market is showing that same trend, I wouldn't be as fearful as if everything else is going up and yours is tanking.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So, first of all, William is hilarious. His one-liners crack me up in the group all the time. So he is hilarious. No, and I would agree with that as well. Really good sentiments there, William. And he low key knows what he's doing too. I think as well. I think he just likes being part of the community. SVP TV, welcome to the Chaos Crew. We got 582 concurrents in here. This is awesome.
Do you think that's Scott Van Pelt for real?
SVP could be.
What's up, man? By the way, have you ever listened to that Scott Van Pelt audio of when he calls that chick after the bar?
No, I always go to the Baltimore accent, and he makes fun of the Baltimoreans.
Oh yeah, he does that with what's the guy's name? The baseball guy?
Yeah, I don't remember his name, but yeah, his Baltimore accent is spot on. Is pretty damn good.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I will say that I want to let everybody know as we wrap up, and I'm putting Brad on the spot. We're enjoying doing the lives. We're talking about doing more lives, and we haven't told anybody, but our goal is to eventually be in a studio just because we want to spend more time together. And so we're on our way to doing that at some point. Hopefully by 2021, we're sitting in a studio, but maybe before that.
Yeah. And
keep things going well.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're also considering just making this a daily show, like skipping all the pre-recorded videos and just making this a daily show. And you guys seem to be loving it. So I think that it's going to be a blast. Would love to hear you guys comment on this too. As Christian is putting me on the spot, but I think that it's definitely something we would want to hear from you guys.
Well,
like maybe it's just a midday show, or maybe it's something we do, right after the bell or something like that. I think it would be a great, it's something that nobody else is doing, right? I mean, CNBC, yeah, sure, but we're just regular Joes. So I think that, we'll be able to connect with you guys so much better that way, and definitely want to hear from you, on that in that regard. So yeah, we're looking to build our own studio, make it all legit. So would love to hear from you guys on that too.
We also need to address this because we talked about this being an issue. Be Kind brought up. Can you please explain your level 1, level 2? Joined yesterday, couldn't find the summer discount. Don't know what level I am or what the difference is, which is, we've talked about this as a common misunderstanding.
Yeah, this is something we're going to worry about, work on clearing up. So there's several services that we provide. So I have a live mentorship where I go live with folks from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern time every single day. And it's in a private group over at We Trade HQ. The link's in the description, and that's what I provide the summer promotion for. The channel memberships, the Chaos Crew channel memberships, is where you see the level 1, level 2 to sign up by clicking the join button. That gives you the daily watch list, and it gives you my daily portfolio updates. So level 2 will give you the access to my portfolio. The level 1 will give you the watch list and any secret live streams we want to do. But then if you want to dive in a little bit deeper and be part of a community, all day long, we have a private Discord and everything. That is the daily mentorship, and we're going to try to label it something different to try to differentiate and make things a little bit more clear. But that's the breakdown. That's what it is.
Awesome, man. Love the live shows. Landon L says, when is On the Chaos going public with the IPO ticket? OWN.
I like OWN. I don't know. We'll see. I guess we'll have to start out on the OTCs or something. I don't know. All right, guys. That's going to do it for us.
Awesome.
Thanks so much for hanging out. It's been a blast. I mean, this hour flew by. But I hope that during this hour it helped bring some perspective on what exactly you should be doing. Definitely shouldn't be panicking. Hopefully you were able to take some profits as we were encouraging you to do so all last week and going into this week as well. And, it should set you up pretty nicely. So thanks so much. Again, if you wanted to chat this afternoon but couldn't because you weren't part of the Chaos Crew, click the join button next to subscribe. As people are saying here, it's the best $5 or $10 that you'll ever spend. We definitely over-deliver, I think. I'd like to think so. And so if you want to be a part of a special community, be sure you're doing that as well. And that's going to do it for me. Christian, thanks for hanging out. As always, I will see you all before the bell. B. Smith is out. Have a good one.
Later, bro.